Viewer discretion is advised. The southern parts of America have a rich culture of the occult, rooted largely in voodoo, which was practiced by slaves brought from Bambara, Haiti, and the Congo. Large parts of Louisiana, the Florida Everglades, as well as some parts of Texas, have their own terrifying tales of hauntings by spirits and creatures that lurk in the night. These stories have been part of the local folklore for hundreds of years, and up to this day, are told by the locals to those who want to listen. When we think about haunted places, haunted houses and cemeteries come to mind. The Old Alton Bridge, located in Denton County, Texas, is rumored to be one of the most haunted places in America and has a dark and disturbing history. Built in 1884, the bridge connected the towns of Louiseville and Alton, and it was traveled daily by many merchants and travelers from the time. Close to the bridge lived Oscar Washburn, an African-American entrepreneur. Along with his wife and 2 children, Oscar ran a very successful farm. The family's goats were renowned for the quality of their milk, meat, and hides, and Oscar's popularity was growing more and more as people were buying his products. The locals called Oscar the Goatman. The savvy entrepreneur had the idea to install a large sign on the nearby bridge, Old Alton, to direct his customers to his farm. The sign read, "This way to the Goatman." Clan activity during the early 20th century in Denton is well documented. Back then, Texas was known as the #1 state in the nation for lynchings. For the Klansmen in the local government, Oscar's sign on the Old Alton Bridge was the last straw, as they were enraged by the black man's farm's success. On a dark, stormy night in 1938, members of the white hooded group crossed the bridge in silence in a car with the lights turned off. They stormed Oscar's home and dragged the screaming Goatman out of bed in front of his terrified family and brought him to the Old Alton Bridge, where a noose was waiting for him. They tightened the rope around Oscar's neck as he was begging for his life, then mercilessly threw him over the side of the bridge. As the men stumbled down the dark river's edge to confirm Oscar was dead, they were shocked to find only an empty noose dangling over the river's undisturbed waters. Needless to say, their faces turned whiter than their cloaks. The panicked Klansmen frantically searched the area before rushing to Washburn's dwelling, believing he had run back home. Without hesitating, the deranged mob set fire to the house, while the Goatman's wife and children could be heard screaming inside. Oscar was never seen again, but a vengeful spirit is said to haunt the Old Alton Bridge ever since that terrible night. Many strange encounters took place on the Old Alton Bridge since Oscar Washburn's death. On November 13, 1967, 2 friends by the name of John Terrence and Timothy Lewis drove up to the bridge, parked their car on the old structure, and turned off the engine. As the glow of the headlights fades, only the moon shining through the clouds illuminated the bridge. John places the keys on the hood of the car and starts joking with Tim about the legend of the Goatman.
"You know, they say the bridge is haunted by the Goatman,"
says John.
"They say if you knock 3 times on the metal, the Goatman will appear." Yeah, and Santa Claus is coming real soon.
Laughs Tim.
Guess we'll find out, won't we?
John proceeds to knock on the structure, using the butt of his pocket knife. Suddenly, the wind starts to rise and disturbs the forest's canopy. A putrid smell starts to overwhelm the two men. It is the smell of death. In the dark forest, movement can be heard. Footsteps getting closer and closer. Suddenly, the two men spot what looks like a pair of glowing red eyes staring at them from the darkness. The smell of rotting flesh is getting stronger, and a blood-curdling low-toned growl is heard. Frightened, the pair run back to the car. As John realizes he left the keys on the hood, it's already too late. In an instant, a dark figure in the woods turns into a large, snarling goat-headed beast.
What in God's name is that thing?
In the blink of an eye, the creature pulls John out of the car and drags him into the dark forest. In a total panic, Tim exits the car and takes off running into the dark night. 2 days later, the Louisville police are called to the Old Alton Bridge to investigate an abandoned vehicle. Despite an investigation being carried out, no traces of the two men were ever found. The only clues the police had were the car keys still resting on the hood of the car and John's pocket knife laying on the ground. This wasn't the first mysterious occurrence near the Old Alton Bridge, and in the years that followed, a wave of supernatural events have been reported by visitors to the cursed structure. Many people have gone missing in the area. Official records from the Alton and Louiseville City Archive document many instances where the police were called to investigate abandoned vehicles and missing persons in the vicinity of the bridge. The locals say that when near Old Alton, especially at night, your mind will play tricks on you. You will swear that you heard or saw something. The legend of the Goatman's Bridge is more than a mere horror story. Terrifying encounters witnessed by people from Alton and Louiseville, as well as curious tourists on the Goatman's Bridge, have been documented throughout the years. Enough so as to warrant a number of investigations by paranormal groups and even news stations.
A Denton County bridge is the focus of a terrifying ghost story. Goatman's Bridge is a 138-year-old structure connecting the cities of Denton and Copper Canyon. And as legend has it, if you visit, you may not be alone.
Evidence has been uncovered throughout the years of occult rites being practiced under the bridge and in the surrounding forest. Many believe the evil that lurks has been summoned at one point by satanic rituals or voodoo spells and caused Oscar Washburn's spirit to return deformed by the pain, fear, and horror of that dreadful night in 1938 and attempt to avenge his murdered family. Tales similar to the Goatman's Bridge exist throughout the Deep South, in areas where to this day voodoo and witchcraft are still part of the local practices. Although claims of evil spirits could be attributed to the long-lasting culture of the occult in those regions of America, there is no shortage of actual documented reports of physical attacks. These include scratches, touching, and violent levitations, as well as some testimonies of people who were dragged by an unseen force and tossed into the river below. While no official records of Oscar Washburn or his farm next to the Old Alton Bridge exist, many historians agree that this story is most likely true. Oscar's faith was shared by numerous African Americans during that dark time in American history. Although a frightening one, The legend of Goatman's Bridge and the tragic story of Oscar Washburn can also serve as a reminder that the past shouldn't be forgotten, so as to never be repeated again. The end. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoy our content. Now, check out this interesting video from our library.